right, let's go into some other issues. QR codes, incredibly important. This is the absolute front line of our ability to get the economy back up and open and people moving around the country. Health experts are demanding the Andrews government overhaul its QR code check-in system. Currently, you need to understand this if you're not in Victoria, Victorian businesses can either use a state government Service Victoria app or their own electronic record-keeping systems, whereas in New South Wales and the ACT, you all have to use the government-mandated centralised QR system, which means the back of the system talks to each other, so you know exactly where you have been, and it's all centralised in one spot. In Victoria, it is not like that. It is incredibly fragmented and risky in terms of tracking people down. For more on this, I'm joined from Canberra by the CEO of the Council of Small Business Australia, Mr. Peter Strong. I was in Sydney over the weekend, and I saw how seamless the app was. Service New South Wales, you fill it out once, everywhere you go, it then takes a second to check yourself in, so that if there was an outbreak, they could connect everywhere I have been in one single move by the government. It's not like that in Victoria, is it?
Well, no, I was down there on the weekend for one of my son's birthdays, and I couldn't believe it, because I'm so used to it in Canberra and in Sydney, that you've got to actually log in each time you go into a different place. And so I probably logged in 15 or 20 different times. I went out a bit. And you think, why? It's unsafe, besides the fact it's a nuisance. And people might say it only takes a few seconds, but if you're out at night and you're a young person going through a pub to another pub, you're probably not going to do it all the time. And we found this out in New South Wales because of the consultation, Peter, because that government consulted with us. The apps or the QR codes put together by businesses, the contact tracers found trouble getting to that information after hours. So when the government came to us and they said, look, we're probably going to impose this on every business because it means we'll be safer, we thought two things. One, well, you've told us, you've consulted with us, and we agree with you. Even though it's a bit of a nuisance for those that have done their own QR code, it makes the community safer and makes business more likely to happen. I'm quite stunned that Victoria hasn't done it. And Peter, they've said they've got the best contract tracing system in Australia, and they don't.
No, they clearly don't. But if they were to move to the new centralised system we see interstate in New South Wales and the ACT, what's going to happen to businesses in Victoria who are already struggling? Would they be expected to change their systems?
Well, that's what happened in New South Wales. That, as I say, they came to us and we thought, oh, look, we see why you're doing it. Yes, we said to the businesses, you should get compensated for the money you spend on the QR codes, but what's best for the community, and in the end, what's best for the small businesses, are that you have the one code, easy to trace. People, when they come along, they don't have to put their details in every time. You just, as I'm sure you know, you point the app at it, you press a button and you go inside and have your dinner or you have a beer. But those people that have spent good money putting a QR code together need to be compensated. I don't think they'll get compensated, but they need to be compensated.
And just quickly before we go, Bruce Bilson is the new Ombudsman. What do you make of that appointment?
Oh, we're very pleased with it. I mean, Kate Carnell did a fabulous job. She was the first Ombudsman and she did a wonderful job. And Bruce came onto a meeting with all our members on Friday and they loved it. We had a good talk about what's important, what's not important, and we expect a lot from him, because that's what he delivered last time when he was a minister, and that's what I'm sure he's going to deliver this time as Ombudsman. We're really happy.
All right. Peter Strong, hope it gets sorted out in Victoria. I'll keep on it, as I'm sure you will too. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Peter.